All right, everybody, welcome to a First Amendment live production. My name is Dereck Stallwood. I'm your host for this segment tonight. Tonight, we've got Pete DelBorrello III. Thanks for coming out and chatting with us.
Dereck, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. No problem. All right, so before we get started, I just want to show you where you can get a little bit of information about Pete and the rest of his running mates in Washington Township. They're running for Washington Township Council this year. Vote in November. You can go out to the Facebook page, Vote BYD. There you can get their information, chat with them, see what they've got going on. And then you can also go over to their website. It's aboutoutwp.com. And again, there's more information about their candidates and their campaign going on over there. So make sure you go over and check it out. And then you can always call the number 1-833-VOTE-BYD and get some contact with them and see what they've got going on. So Pete, I appreciate you coming out. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit about you and what you got going on.
Sure. My name is Pete DelBorrello III, and I'm running for Washington Township Council here in Gloucester County. And I'm a father of two, and I have two on the way. I have twins on the way.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if I get up during the interview and run out, that's why. I got the call, and the twins are coming. So
busy.
And that's one of the reasons why I got involved. I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman. My career spans almost 25 years, from venture capital to real estate to financial investments, things along those nature. That's really what I do.
All right, cool. So it's you and your running mates?
My running mates and I, yeah. I mean, listen, great guys. You have Don Brown, who's a police officer and a volunteer fireman. You have Jack YERKES, who's a realtor in Washington Township and the surrounding area, both on a residential and commercial. So just two great guys that I'm honored to be running with.
Awesome. So in Washington, what kind of issues are you guys dealing with in Washington Township right now? What's pressing?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, some of the same national issues, honestly, unfortunately, the incumbent Democrats that are running against us have brought those national issues home to our doorsteps. From rising gas prices to food, it's all affecting us. One of the major things is, Washington Township, Gloucester County is the 28th highest property tax, not in the state, not in the tri-state, in the country.
28th highest in property tax in the entire country?
In the country.
Wow.
In the country. So,
okay.
That's their direct action. We're also dealing with a lot of pay-to-play politics, lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit they got us involved in that's just taxpayer money. We have a Black Horse Pike, we have a Delsey Drive, we have a town with boarded up buildings, we don't have thriving business, and they have really no plan to fix it. No plan to fix it.
You haven't seen anything from them?
No, I mean, listen, you drive around town, you see the buildings, you see that's their best work. What you're seeing there is their best work. The problem is we have shopping centers that have more vacancies than stores. And you don't know that until you go and pull on a door, and then you look in and you say to yourself, wait a minute, they're just out of business. We just, what they do in Washington Township, we just don't take the sign down. So you drive by and it looks like all this sprawling business, but they're actually empty shopping centers.
Empty storefronts.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's terrible because a lot of that's probably going around all over New Jersey.
Well, listen, because that's what they do. They show up, they cut a ribbon, right? They take some pictures, they wave, and then you never see them again. And that's what they think, helping a business that comes in town, somebody who goes out and puts their life savings on the line, who goes to their family and friends to raise money to come out with this dream of theirs, and that's what they think helping a business is all about. It's just not the case.
Right. So a lot of people say politicians are all the same.
Yeah.
You said you're not a politician.
Yeah.
So what's setting you apart from all these people?
Well, that's the first thing. First thing is I'm a businessman, right? I understand why this happens. I understand, why shopping centers look this way, and I understand why they're boarded up, and I understand what they're doing wrong. Politicians definitely have, especially in Washington Township. I've met so many great residents there that have said to me, listen, I spent my whole life in this town. And most recently, the politicians now more than ever are just lying to us. They're just, lying to us. And these are people that are not just Republicans or independents. They're Democrats. It's all of them. And they're saying to us, how are you going to be different? Exactly what you just said. How are you going to be different? How are you not going to be a politician? And the first thing is that I think when someone gets elected, after they're done campaigning and the party's over, you don't hear from them again, right? The first thing we're going to do differently, we're going to come back and thank you for actually voting for us. The next thing that my running mates and I set up was we actually set up an 800 number that you're going to reach us directly after that, right? So not a township email, not a hey, come to a township meeting, we can talk then. It's hey, call me outside if there's a problem in your neighborhood, big or small, let's talk about it. We've actually been doing that now.
And that's the same number here, the 833-VOTE-BYD?
Yeah, so we'll have it, and it actually rings our cell phone directly.
Oh, wow.
So there's a problem. And the crazy part is we've gotten so many calls in this campaign from people that were actually had problems in their neighborhood and actually called us and thought they're never going to show up. They don't care. And I actually have a copybook of all the things that are wrong. And when we get in, I'm ready to go for these issues.
Ready to work.
Yeah, ready to work.
Great. So, politics gets a little dirty.
Sure.
What would you say to any attack ads that would be coming at you guys, you and your running mates?
Yeah. So you never find an attack ad, you never find a plan, right? It talks about a person who has a plan, but they never have a plan. It just attacks somebody. First of all, we've never been in office before, my running mates and I. So for them to attack us on anything, it's crazy. I mean, it's their record they should be attacking, right? That's really what they're running from, their record, what they haven't done, with their inability to get things done in town. So they're attacking us. I mean, Don is a police officer and a firefighter. You're going to attack that person who puts his life on the line every day? I mean, Jack makes dreams happen. He's the guy that helps you sell your home or buy your bigger home in Washington Township and help you open your business. And they're parents. I mean, these guys are parents. They're doing this because they love the town. You get involved because we really believe in the idea of service.
So would you be interested in a debate with the incumbent Democrats?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I would love to debate them for, number one is because I think residents all see their direct actions, right? You see the buildings, you see your property taxes, you see the lawsuit after lawsuit, but you never hear their words. When you go to a township meeting, in fact, the crazy thing, when you go to a township meeting in Washington Township, you get up, you speak, you have 5 minutes to speak, and then you sit down. And it says on the paper that they give you, somebody may or may not answer you. How's that an open forum meeting? How's that you talking to your elected officials if somebody may or may not answer you? And I'll tell you, they don't answer you. I go to those meetings, they don't answer you. So I want residents to actually hear their words because they see the actions. You drive around town, their actions are out there. I mean, you see their best work. You see, vacancy after vacancy. So I really want them, and I want them to hear our words. I want to hear from Don and Jack and myself that really, we want to go in, we know there's a new direction. We truly believe that Washington Township is a town on the edge of greatness. And people say, well, what does that mean? So here's what it means. It means that Washington Township has everything for greatness, right? And you choose to live there, and Meg and I have chosen to live there and raise our family there because we really believe that. We believe that when you talk to people, they say, listen, Washington Township is a good town. And we all agree with that. But I want to be great. I want to be great, and I know that we have all the components to do that. It's just these problems that are holding us back. So, that's what I think a debate will bring out. I think that residents will actually understand where we're coming from, that we're doing this for the right reasons, that there's no other reason to run than just the idea of service.
Right. So you touched on a little bit already about the closed storefronts and the business situation in Washington Township. With the inflation that we're seeing nationwide, rising food prices, housing prices, gas prices, how's that affecting Washington Township directly?
Sure. Like I said, they brought those national problems home to our doorsteps. When you're the 28th highest in the country when it comes to property tax, all that extra money that you're not saving, I mean, look at the price when you fill up at the pump. So now you're filling up the pump. Now you're trying to buy food. There's people in township right now that have to figure out if they want gas or food. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that in any town. One time, Washington Township had actually on our water tower, Premier Community. We actually painted over that. We painted over that because we're no longer a Premier Community. We no longer can say that about ourselves when you have businesses that aren't thriving, when you have boarded up buildings. When you literally have to say to yourself, should I fill up with gas or should I buy food? And then your property tax bill comes in and you say, how am I supposed to afford this? So those national problems are here in Washington Township. Well, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel it myself as a parent. I know that there's choices I have to make. They actually put out a mailer, and their mailer said that Washington Township was the 9th hottest neighborhood in the country or the world. It was something so crazy. And I said to people, when you'll know that? You'll know that when my running mates and I, we hold the line on property taxes. And you open up your wallet or your purse, and you look inside your bank account, and you have extra money. That's when you'll know that. Not because their mailer says that, because that's when you'll actually know that's true.
You said the mailer said that Washington Township is the 9th hottest community?
hottest, it was something like the 9th hottest neighborhood, and then it said something like, this didn't happen by accident.
And then what was the other stat that you said? 28th highest in property taxes.
Right, we're 28th highest in property taxes, but we're the hottest 9th in the nation or the world. It was something so crazy, and it was like, how can you mail that out honestly with a straight face? And it said, this didn't happen by accident. It's funny because a lot of my videos now, I say, you know, when I point out the things that they're not doing properly, and I say, this didn't happen by accident, because you can see their direct actions. What's happening now in this, you know, in this town isn't by accident. It's their direct actions, or inaction sometimes, for lack of better words, sometimes.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't appear.
No, it doesn't.
Someone has to be working the cogs.
Listen, it's you know, again, on the back end, when people look at this and they drive around town, I hope they see that. I hope that it stands out, because it's not just one part of town. I mean, it's every part of town. It's funny because I shoot a lot of videos in a lot of shopping centers, and you
can find those on the Facebook page there?
You can find them on our Facebook page, and every time I can use a new shopping center with vacancies. So I don't have to, you know, it's like when you see my videos, every time you see a new shopping center and you're like, there's no way, but you know, I was in one today that literally had not one store in it. Every sign was up.
Wow.
It looked like it was full. There's no cars in the parking lot, and it just so happens the owner drives in, and we had a conversation. I said, what's the problem? He said the same thing. He said, this is what they do. They come out, they cut a ribbon, and then no one sees them again. They're not promoting the business from Washington Township, you know. And again, as somebody who considers himself a small business owner, you know, to get that kind of push from the council, to get those eyes on your business, to know that, hey, I can reach out to you and we can have a dialogue on how we can help your business. I mean, you put everything you had on the line for that, you know. And I want people to succeed. I want their business. I want them to be able to support their family from this business that they put everything on the line for. So it's sad that that's not happening now.
Right. Well, so you say like you could drive around town and that, and I'm sure you've done quite a lot of driving around Washington Township, walking around Washington Township.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the people that you've met on the campaign trail, kind of the things that you've heard from them.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest, Washington Township, and I'm not just saying this, has some of the greatest residents. From our seniors to our veterans, I've gotten to meet parents and grandparents. I've gotten to meet the children of the town. I've gotten to meet Gold Star families. I've gotten to meet just people that really love the town. And they all kind of say the same thing. It's a good town, right? We all agree with that, but we want to be great. You know, a lot of them said the same thing. Listen, if property taxes go up one more time, I have to move. And I have the same problem. If they go up anymore, we'll have to move. I mean, there's at some point we just can't balance it. You know, the other big thing that we're not having in town is, and now they're started talking about it, is a station resource officer in every single school. And again, listen, the safety of our children is the number one priority. Yeah. Before anything else, I want you to pull up to see a station resource over there, pick up your children at the end of the day, see that station resource officer there again, and know they're coming home safe. You know, hands down, that's the number one campaign promise that I will not stop until we have that done.
And that's a good one.
Listen,
especially with what's going on right now.
It's very sad in a world but that's the world we live in today. So I take it very seriously. I have a child inside the school system. I'll have 3 more going through the school system. So, you know, standing with my children and their children, and all the children of Washington Township is so important to me.
So, aside from the school resource officer promise, what else are you going to promise for the Washington Township residents to try and fix? You
know, when you get these calls from residents who have really nowhere else to turn, and they tell you, honestly, listen, I've reached out to council, and I've reached out to these incumbents, I've reached out to the mayor. You know, there's so many problems in so many neighborhoods. There's street problems. There's problems with drugs, unfortunately, in Washington Township, and we're dealing with that. And they just want somebody to talk to. And again, like I said, my running mates and I, we don't have all the answers, but we can work together to find out where we need to go. You know, I actually started this campaign because there's a deadly intersection at Salina Road and Delsey Drive. And, you know, I said to Meg one day, I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to go down to the township and I'm going to talk about getting a traffic light here. And I got the runaround. And I said, well, that doesn't seem right. And he said, oh, well, you have to go talk to this person. And I went there and I went here. This went on for almost a year and a half. And then one day I woke up and I said, honestly, you know, if you can't get a traffic light for a deadly intersection, what else can Washington Township residents what are they not getting that you need? I mean, it's not something this is something that's needed. It's a deadly intersection. I talked to our police chief who's doing a phenomenal job. He's got a great outreach program. And he said, listen, this is a problem intersection. It's a problem intersection. And then you start meeting residents who say, hey, I know that intersection. I live on the other side of town, but I know that intersection. That is a deadly intersection. I mean, it truly is a deadly intersection. In fact, just this past month, there was 2 major accidents. One gentleman was still in Cooper Hospital. So it just goes to show you that it's a problem. And the pure fact that you know, I've gone to these meetings, it's a bipartisan issue. You know, it's all of our families that travel on this road. It's not a Republican or a Democrat or independent thing. It's all of our families travel on this road. People travel through town on this road. So making sure they're safe is #1 priority for me as well.
Yeah, so you said you're a small business owner. I am as well.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes back to a customer service issue.
Sure.
So people are coming to you with problems. Why can't you fix them?
Why can't you fix them? And, you know what? At least point in the right direction and say, hey, listen, I know this is a problem. This is who we need to talk to, because you know they know. You know they know. So that's what I finally said. I said to Meg, I said, I can't live like this. I know that this isn't right. And I know there's a better path. And I know that Washington Township residents must be having the same problems, whether it's not this intersection. And then when you start going out there, you knock on doors, you start talking to people, and they're like, I had this problem. You're like, well, that's a real problem. Have you talked to anybody? Well, I tried. Well, how long are you working on it? 2 years. 2 years? And nothing? No. Because they get elected and you never see them again. You know, you'll get a township email, you know, and you could send that between the hours of like 9 and 4. And maybe they'll answer
right.
Monday through Thursday. Maybe they'll answer, maybe they won't. You know, chances are they won't answer you, or they'll blow you off. And that's what a lot of people had said. So I said, well, we're going to change that. You have to have direct communication and I actually said the one thing is, I'll answer 24/7. I said, but listen, don't tell Meg that. But I'm that kind of person. Yeah, just don't tell Meg that I'll probably be able to the twins, right? So I'll have the twins and I'll be able to answer the phone as well. But that's the truth. That's how I work. I mean, I'm a workaholic. So for me, fixing these problems, and that was probably one of the biggest things as well, is that your family being on board with you. I mean, Meg's been phenomenal. My children have been phenomenal. Having their support, I think, was what I was, you know, I sat them down and you know, you have that conversation with them and you say, listen, they're going to, but they understood. They understood that, listen, you're doing it for the right reasons. You know.
Doing it for them.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing it for them. I mean, you know, again, our children are the future of this town, this county, this state, and I say, in this nation. I mean, they're the future. So, and showing them too that I said to them, I said, listen, if you want something, you don't run from it, you run for it. So this is what I'm showing them, and they've been phenomenal. Even my 3-year-old has been out on the trail with me, helping pet out signs and knocking on doors. And,
you know, you'd be surprised how good kids are at it.
They are phenomenal, aren't they?
They just run door to door.
Yeah, he's got all that energy. And I shot a great video where he was actually wore him out. He actually was in the car sleeping, but he's been great. And my 14-year-old boy, same thing. You know, he's been doing a phenomenal job he's doing all the literature stuffing, and they're out there. And then, you know, you start hearing from their parents. And when you run into their parents, the parents start asking you questions and say, hey, listen, I'm having this issue. Can you help? And I said, well, listen, you know, we're about, you know, 60, 70 days. Every time we have some time out, but we're getting there. And when we get there, yes. You know, and I just keep writing it down. You know, when we talked, when we spoke, and said, listen, I'll be back. You know, and I know they believe you. You know, I know a lot of residents that I spoke to said, you know what, you'll be back. Because when they call and you come, that's the first point of they say something's different here. Because I don't think before you ever called and the person actually showed up to your house the next day like they said they were going to. Because they really do care about the problem. And I haven't encountered one resident yet that the problem they spoke about really wasn't a big problem. Like, wow, that's a big issue.
Solvable.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's solvable. You know, and we got, you know, the one thing about Washington Township is when I say you're on the edge of greatness, we got great township workers. We have great public works. The people who run our municipal building are phenomenal. And I got to be honest, I know you elect council and you elect the mayor, but they're the people who run the town.
Sure.
And my running mates and I are really looking forward to working alongside them and getting the job done, because I think they're doing a phenomenal job. I think they just need to change course. I don't think it's them that's the problem. You know, it's like a lot of companies, right? It's the top. It's the top that's the problem. It's not them, because I think they're getting their work done, because a lot of what you see in Washington Township is good, and it looks really good. It's just that we need to change course. And when you say that to people and they say to themselves, you're right, we need to change course. I haven't met a resident yet who didn't agree. You know, from our seniors to our veterans to parents, and they're saying, yeah, we need to change course. We're going in the wrong direction. I think they think the whole country's going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not just us, and that's where the gas and all those national problems come in, because we're all feeling that on all levels. You know, I have people that are, you know, from all walks of life that I'm friends with, and we're all feeling the same. We're all in the same boat. That's what brings us together. You know, the lines of a Republican, a Democrat, Independent are kind of blurred anymore, and we're all just people, and we understand these problems because they're affecting everybody.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it just needs to be focused on local municipalities.
Sure.
Because the national stuff is tough.
It
but
is.
You can be involved in your town.
Yeah, listen, and that's what I tell people. I mean, two people, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, don't represent a whole party, right? And I'm not either one of those guys. And I'm somebody here on a local level. This is where you live. This is where your grandchildren come. This is where you're chosen to maybe open your business up. So I'm here for those problems. And as we solve those problems, hopefully that'll help you on a national level, because you'll have more money in your gas tank. You'll have more money to buy food. You'll have money to take your family on vacation. If I do my job correctly in the way that we want things to really to show people a new way of doing things, you'll have that extra money. It won't be a problem. You won't want to spend it. You still don't want $5 gas.
Right.
But at least you don't have to make a choice and say, kids can't get the new shoes today, but I can fill the tank up. Now you can say, okay, well, it's still $5 gas, but I can get my kids the shoes because they held the line on property taxes. And actually, they've actually worked on trying to get my property taxes down. Because the first promise is to hold the line. The next promise is to get them down, because you got to cut out that wasteful spending.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look over these budgets, and I'm a numbers guy, right? So looking over numbers is what I do, and you see wasteful spending.
Yeah, and it's what you don't see. That's the
That's the other thing too. It's what you don't see. And again, when you're in a town that's, like I said, on the edge of greatness, you have all the components to make it that town that everyone says, no, it's not a good town, it's a great town. And you've heard of other places, people say, oh, you hear a lot of it from Florida nowadays, right? People are saying, oh, it's great. So I want people to say, Washington Township, it's great. I know I did my job.
Right. All right, well, you want to close us out with your with like a stump speech, the classic stump speech.
Listen, Washington Township, Gloucester County, I'm not going to let you down, and neither are my running mates. Don Brown, Jack YERKES, we're going to really work 24/7. We understand what you're going through. We're parents. We understand what's going on out there. We need a change. You're going to see attack ads. They're going to tell you who we're not. And that's the thing that's so sad, is that's not who we are. Unfortunately, the woman at the top of our ticket is being attacked already. That's not who she is. I mean, you should see this woman work. I mean, she's a mother and a grandmother. She works around the clock. I mean,
Claire Gustafson.
Claire Gustafson. Yeah. I'm honored to know her. I'm honored to run with her. I'm honored to vote for her. And the same thing with my running mates. I mean, these guys are working around the clock for no other reason other than they really want to change. They want to do what's right. I mean, you see us around town. You see us at events. We're really going to make that change. We're not going to let people down. And plus, you're going to be able to call us. So, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, you're going to be able to get a hold of us. I mean, that's the idea of an 800 number that rings directly to us. And we'll pick up and we'll find out what's going on and what the problem is, and we're really going to work to solve it.
Sounds great, man. It was nice talking to you, Pete. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one.